Wilt Chamberlain may very well have been the most dominant basketball player in the history of the game. You can easily make the argument. There's statistics to back it up. There are people who will be able to make arguments for other players, and you really can't dispute those. The footage that's on your screen right now is courtesy of the Wilt Chamberlain archive, which is really an amalgamation of Wilt Chamberlain footage from pretty much everywhere that you'll ever see. But I mean, like I talked about the statistics, I mean, Wilt Chamberlain led the league in scoring 7 times. He averaged over 30 points a game 9 times. Of course, in his 3rd season in the NBA, he averaged 50.4 points a game. He was not just a great basketball player, as you can see. He was a track and field star. He was a crazy good volleyball player. He was just a freak of nature athlete that was very much ahead of his time. We talked about the scoring. The rebounding statistics are even more befuddling. 11 rebound titles. He led the league in minutes played 9 times. Led the league in field goal percentage. I mean, just everything and anything you could think of. Obviously, he did have the weakness in his game in regards to free throw shooting, but Wilt's status during the time that he played from 1959 to 1973, he was just really an amazing player. So one of the things we always like to do is we always like to play what if in sports. What if this and what if that, and what if this player from this era was able to play in this era. Now, we will never be able to know those things for sure, but games like NBA 2K18 give us an opportunity to somewhat test some of these what if scenarios. So the latest one that I've done is what if Wilt Chamberlain played in the NBA today. Now I'm going to set up what I did with the experiment, how I did this. I basically took Wilt Chamberlain, the version in the game that comes from the all-time Warriors, that's Wilt pretty much at his most dominant. That's when he averaged 50.4 points a game. So he's a 99 overall rated player. He is easily the best player in the league based off of those ratings. And I put him on a team where we were trying to figure out, okay, where would he be a focal point of everything that's going on without having to compete with maybe a LeBron or a Kevin Durant, a Steph Curry, a Russell Westbrook, anything like that? Where would he be playing where he'd be like the man? And then what we did was I said I'm going to alter the offense to make sure that the offense runs through the post, so that obviously Wilt gets the types of touches and the opportunities to score and rebound the way he would get if he's on a team today. I mean, you see a guy like this, I know the game is positionless basketball and there's not a lot of room or not a lot of people playing through the big right now, but I think if there's anybody who would be an exception to the way the game is being played now, you might have to look at somebody like Wilt Chamberlain. Maybe not, but maybe, yeah, I think it's definitely logical that you might look at someone like Wilt and say, hey, maybe we'll do something a little bit different for this guy. So I put him with the Chicago Bulls. And you might say, oh, you did that because you're a Bulls fan. Well, you're partially right. But definitely with the current Bulls roster, there's no question at all Wilt Chamberlain is going to be the focal point of that particular team. So let's pick up the simulation and we're going to start looking at a little bit of the highlights. I'm going to tell you about what we saw in the sim. Let's pick up the season in one of the first big early games on the Chicago Bulls schedule, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bulls are in position to steal this game on the road, 113-106 with 11.4 seconds remaining. You pretty much already know this game is done. Look at the numbers from Wilt. This is a simulation, people. Nobody took control of Wilt and went player lock. 46 and 23 for the stilt. He dominated this game from the beginning. He did everything. Set picks, he passed, he dished assists, he dominated on the glass, he controlled the inside. Cleveland had no earthly answer for the Big Dipper. And if this is an indication of what the Bulls have to look forward to in this simulated season, then oh my, the Wilt Chamberlain experiment has worked just absolute wonders for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, LeBron was LeBron in this game. He really was. And we totally asked for your pardon in regards to both teams having on home jerseys. Just a little bit of an issue when you do a simcast with NBA 2K18. Maybe that'll get fixed in the near future. We kind of found out a way around that moving forward. But getting back to the subject, Wilt Chamberlain. They should show LeBron dapping up Wilt after this game, because he's got to give the Big Dipper his props. As he walks off the court, towel around his neck, he earned the rest as the Bulls take this very important early season matchup. How good can the Bulls be with Wilt Chamberlain? I mean, it looks like they can be quite good. He even has Nikola Mirotic defending. Markkanen's defending down there. Markkanen defends anyway, but he's got Mirotic defending. So that's a beautiful thing that you look forward to see whether or not the Bulls can continue. Look at the box score, though. Like I said, LeBron was pretty much LeBron. 27 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. Not a humongous game for him, but look at the point distribution for the Bulls. It's pretty much, the scoring is all about Wilt. Mirotic had 16, Markkanen 12, Levine 10. But that big 46, he's 22 of 31 from the field. Why in the world the Cavs only fouled him enough for him to shoot 3 free throws, considering the fact that he's not a great free throw shooter, is kind of a little bit bewildering. But in another game, which was also big on the schedule, against the Oklahoma City Thunder, you saw Wilt Chamberlain go for 31 and 20. That is huge numbers. On the season leading up to that point, 22.4 and 17.8 rebounds. That's at that point. Now, another huge game. Obviously, if you're talking about any measuring stick in the NBA today, you gotta look at the Golden State Warriors. When the Bulls took on Golden State with Wilt Chamberlain, Chamberlain had a big-time game. They didn't have an answer for him either. But this is a team game, and the Bulls were not able to overcome Golden State on the road or at home. But as you can see, 31 and 19. So obviously, Wilt Chamberlain is an all-star. So he goes to the all-star game. We got to check the league leaders here. He's 14th in the league in scoring with 21.7. You already see where the offensive rebounds are. He's leading the NBA in offensive rebounds with 5.8. He's also leading the league in defensive rebounds, and then therefore, obviously, he's leading the league in total rebounds. His assist numbers are quite impressive, actually, at 3.5 for a center. Steals, they're whatever, but blocks, he leads the NBA in blocks as well with 3.2. He is doing it in a major way, on his way to all kinds of individual accolades. But the key is, how far can he take the Bulls in the postseason? Because we know they're on their way. We're seeing the teams that they're beating. The Bulls actually qualify for the #1 seed in the postseason. They take on the Philadelphia 76ers. It goes to a game 7. This was game 6. The Bulls were actually down 3-2. Chamberlain powers them to the win in game 6. Zach LaVine had a big game, but of course, as always, it's all about Wilt Chamberlain. He guides them to the victory here. The Bulls go ahead and take care of business in game 7, and they extend all the way and go to the NBA Finals, where they take on the Golden State Warriors. And as you can see from that score, even Wilt could not stop the Dubs. He could not stop the Dubs from another NBA championship. The Bulls were just severely neutralized in the series. They were swept. Straight 4-game sweep. Golden State had the answer. They had the kryptonite for Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain had a solid series, but not anything compared to what he'd done in the regular season. Going head-to-head with the Warriors, it just didn't work out. In this final game here, the elimination game, trying to keep the Bulls from being swept, Wilt Chamberlain goes for only 16 and 13. So that is absolutely regular player type numbers, and he was far from that. Durant gets the NBA Finals MVP again for the 2nd year in a row. Wilt did not win the MVP. He did finish first team all NBA. He was first team all defense and the defensive player of the year. So if we can learn anything from this simulation, we know that Wilt Chamberlain would be a dominant player in the NBA, but it's not going to lead to an automatic championship the same way it didn't in his real career. But he definitely could more than hold his own. I appreciate you watching. God bless.